In the wild, you learn one thing very quickly. Complacency is your biggest enemy. You can have a full stomach one day and be staring at starvation the next. The same rules apply to our modern world, even if the jungle is made of concrete. Food shortages don't announce themselves with a bang. They creep in slowly, a news report here, an empty shelf there, until one day you realize you can't rely on the stores the way you used to. That's a dangerous position to be in. But the power to secure your family's future isn't in some far-off government plan. It's right under your feet, in the soil in your own backyard. This isn't about hobby gardening or growing the prettiest flower. This is about survival. It's about resilience. It's about taking control when the systems we depend on start to show cracks. We can't afford to wait until the crisis is at our doorstep. The time to act is now, while we still have the chance to prepare. That's why today, we're cutting through the noise. Let's get straight into the crops that every home gardener should plant immediately if they want a steady, dependable food supply. This is your first line of defense, your personal food security plan. Forget the delicate, fussy plants that need constant coddling. We're focusing on the sass of the vegetable world. These are survival champions, plants that give big harvests, grow through tough conditions, and keep producing when you need them most. They are packed with calories, nutrients, and the grit to thrive even when the going gets tough. Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly what to plant to build a garden that can genuinely sustain you and your loved ones. This is your blueprint for self-reliance. Let's get started. Right, first on our list is an absolute powerhouse, the humble potato. When it comes to pure survival calories, nothing else in the garden comes close. This isn't just about filling your plate, it's about fueling your body for hard work when energy is scarce. Think of each potato as a dense, underground battery pack. They are incredibly easy to grow. You can literally take a potato from the store, cut it into pieces with an eye on each, and plant them. Nature does the rest. They don't need perfect soil. They'll fight their way through tough conditions. In a survival scenario, you need food that lasts. Refrigeration might be a luxury you don't have. That's where the potato proves its worth again. Once you've harvested them, let them cure in a cool, dark place for a couple of weeks. After that, they can be stored for months, sometimes all the way through winter, in a simple cellar, a dark cupboard, or even a bucket of sand. This is long-term food security you can count on, a reliable source of energy that will be there when the shelves are bare. It's the bedrock of any survival garden. The versatility is another key factor. You can boil them, bake them, fry them, mash them. The options are endless. This prevents food fatigue, which is a real morale killer in a long-term crisis, and the yields can be massive. From a small patch, you can pull up bucket after bucket of food. I've seen them grow in some of the toughest places on Earth, from the high Andes to the windswept islands of the Atlantic. If they can survive there, they can thrive in your backyard. Don't underestimate this tuber, it's a true champion. So, how do you do it? Find a sunny spot, dig a trench about 6 inches deep, place your seed potatoes, eye side up, about a foot apart, cover them with soil. As the plant grows, you'll want to hill them up, mound soil around the base of the stem. This protects the developing tubers from sunlight, which can turn them green and toxic. It's a simple technique for a massive reward. Get potatoes in the ground, and you've taken your first major step toward self-sufficiency. It's a non-negotiable for any serious survival gardener. Next up, we have the sweet potato. Don't confuse it with its cousin, the regular potato. This is a different beast altogether, and it has some incredible survival advantages. Its greatest strength is its sheer resilience. The sweet potato scoffs at conditions that would kill other plants. It thrives in the heat and can handle periods of drought remarkably well. If your climate is unpredictable or you're dealing with poor sandy soil, the sweet potato is your best friend. It's a plant that fights for you. What makes it a true survival MVP is that you get 2 crops in one. Down below the ground, you have the calorie-rich, nutrient-dense tubers developing. They are packed with vitamin A, which is crucial for vision and immune function. Things you can't afford to lose when medical help might be limited. But above ground, you have the leaves. Unlike regular potato leaves, which are toxic, sweet potato leaves are not only edible but also incredibly nutritious, like a hearty spinach. You can harvest the leaves throughout the growing season for a continuous supply of fresh greens without harming the main crop. Think about that for a moment. While you're waiting for the main harvest, the plant is already feeding you. It's a living pantry. You can steam, sauté, or boil the leaves and shoots, giving you vital nutrients week after week. Then, at the end of the season, you dig up the main prize, This dual-purpose nature makes it one of the most efficient plants you can grow in a limited space. It's maximum output for minimum input, the exact equation you want in a survival situation. Growing them is straightforward. They grow from slips, which are sprouts grown from a mature sweet potato. You can buy these or start your own. Plant them in loose, warm soil after the last frost, and give them space to ramble. They create a dense ground cover that helps suppress weeds and keep the soil moist. For a plant that asks for so little, it gives back an incredible amount of high-quality food. It's the ultimate low-maintenance, high-reward crop for tough times. Now for a classic that's often underestimated in a survival context, the carrot. Its primary advantage is its brilliant storage method. You don't need a cellar or special equipment. The best place to store carrots is right where they grew, in the ground. This is nature's refrigerator. As long as the ground doesn't freeze solid, you can leave your carrots in the soil and pull them up as you need them, fresh and crisp, all through the autumn and often deep into winter. A thick layer of mulch, like straw or shredded leaves, can protect them even further. This in-ground storage capability is a game changer. It means you have access to fresh, vitamin-rich food long after other crops have finished. Carrots are packed with beta-carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A, essential for night vision and a strong immune system. When you're trying to stay healthy and alert, this is not a small thing. Their relatively quick growth cycle also means you can often get in 2 plantings, one in the spring for a summer harvest, and another in late summer for a fall and winter supply. They are also surprisingly tough. While they prefer loose, sandy soil to grow long and straight, they'll grow in heavier soils too. They just might be a bit more gnarly and characterful. More importantly, they are cold tolerant. A light frost actually improves their flavor, converting starches into sugars and making them taste sweeter. This allows you to extend your harvest season getting fresh food from the garden when others are relying on stored goods. It's a huge morale boost to pull a bright, fresh carrot from the cold earth. Planting is simple. You sow the tiny seeds directly into the garden in early spring. The key is to keep the seedbed moist until they germinate, which can take a couple of weeks. Thin them out once they're a few inches tall to give the roots room to grow. From that point on, they require very little care beyond watering during dry spells. For the small amount of space they take up, the reward of having a fresh, storable food source that can last for months is an incredible asset for any survival gardener. The double-duty root beet. Beets are another root vegetable that punches way above their weight class in a survival garden. Like carrots, they can be stored in the ground for an extended harvest, but they offer even more. The beet is a true double-duty crop. You get the earthy, nutrient-packed root, but you also get a continuous supply of delicious and nutritious greens from the top of the plant. These beet greens are essentially a form of chard, and you can harvest them sparingly throughout the season without damaging the root's development. This dual harvest is incredibly efficient. The roots are a fantastic source of folate, manganese, and potassium, but they also contain something many vegetables lack, a decent amount of protein. In a diet where protein might be hard to come by, every little bit helps. The greens, on the other hand, are loaded with vitamins A, C, and K and iron. Iron is critical for energy and preventing anemia, a real threat when your diet is limited. So with one plant, you're getting 2 very different and complementary nutritional profiles. Beets are also brilliantly adaptable. They tolerate a bit of shade better than many other vegetables, so you can tuck them into less than ideal spots in your garden. They are also relatively quick to mature, with some varieties ready in as little as 50 days. This means you can succession plant them, putting in a new small batch every few weeks to ensure a continuous supply of both roots and greens from spring all the way through to the first hard frosts of winter. Their resilience and speed make them a reliable producer. Don't discard any part of this plant. The roots can be roasted, boiled, or even pickled for long-term preservation, a classic survival skill. The greens can be eaten raw in salads when young or sautéed like spinach when they're more mature. This plant represents a core principle of survival. Use everything, waste nothing. By planting beets, you are packing an incredible amount of nutrition and versatility into a very small footprint. It's a smart, efficient choice for anyone serious about food independence. The vertical victory pole beans. When you're gardening for survival, space is often at a premium. You need to maximize the yield from every square foot of soil. This is where pole beans become your secret weapon. Instead of sprawling out across the ground, they grow vertically, climbing up any support you give them. A trellis, a fence, or even simple poles made from branches. This upward growth means you can produce a massive amount of food in a very small footprint. It's the most efficient use of garden real estate you can get. But it's not just about space saving. Pole beans are incredibly productive. Once they start producing, they don't stop. You can be out there every couple of days for weeks, even months, picking basket after basket of fresh beans. This continuous harvest is vital for a steady food supply. You're not waiting for one single harvest day. You're getting food consistently throughout the summer and into the fall. This takes the pressure off and provides a reliable source of fresh vegetables for your daily meals. Here's another incredible benefit they bring to your entire garden ecosystem. Beans, like other legumes, are nitrogen fixers. They have a symbiotic relationship with bacteria in the soil that allows them to pull nitrogen from the air and convert it into a form that plants can use. Essentially, they create their own fertilizer. Planting beans will actually enrich your soil, making it more fertile for the crops you plant there next year. They're not just feeding you, they're feeding your garden. This makes them a cornerstone of a sustainable, long-term survival garden. You can eat them fresh, of course, but they are also excellent for preserving. You can can them, or freeze them. Even better, you can let the pods mature and dry on the vine. The result is a supply of dry beans that will store for years, providing a crucial source of protein and fiber through the winter. Pole beans aren't just a vegetable, they are a multi-purpose survival system. The fast and furious bush beans. While pole beans are the marathon runners of the bean world, bush beans are the sprinters. Their key advantage is speed. If you need food and you need it fast, bush beans are one of your best bets. Many varieties go from seed to harvest in as little as 50 to 60 days. This rapid turnaround is critical, especially if you're starting a garden late or need to fill a gap between other crops. They provide a quick, morale-boosting harvest that puts food on the table when you need it most. Bush beans don't require any trellising or support. They grow in a compact, bushy form, usually only a foot or two high. This makes them incredibly easy to manage. You plant them, they grow, and they produce. Their low growing habit also makes them a great choice for windy, exposed locations where a tall trellis of pole beans might struggle. They are sturdy, reliable, and get the job done with minimum fuss. This simplicity is a huge asset when your time and energy are limited. The harvest is different from pole beans. Bush beans tend to produce their crop in a more concentrated window. You'll get a large flush of beans over a couple of weeks, rather than a slow trickle. This is perfect for preserving. If you want to spend a day canning, freezing, or dehydrating a large batch of food for winter storage, the concentrated harvest of bush beans is ideal. It allows you to process a significant amount of food at once, efficiently stocking your pantry for the lean months ahead. Because they mature so quickly, bush beans are perfect for succession planting. As soon as you've finished harvesting one patch, you can pull the plants, amend the soil, and plant another crop. You can plant a new row every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the spring and summer to guarantee a continuous supply. Just like their pole-climbing cousins, they also fix nitrogen in the soil, improving its health with every planting. For a quick, reliable, and easy-to-manage source of food, bush beans are an essential component of your survival garden plan. In the survival calendar, the hungry gap of early spring is a real threat. Your winter stores are dwindling, but the main summer crops are still months away. This is where peas really shine. They are one of the very first crops you can plant in the garden, often weeks before the last frost. Peas just love cool weather and can be sown as soon as the soil can be worked. This gives you a vital, early-season harvest of fresh, sweet food when, honestly, little else is available. Peas are a fantastic source of protein, fiber, and essential vitamins. Eating fresh peas straight from the pod is not just a treat, it's a huge morale booster and a shot of fresh nutrients after a long winter. There are several types to consider. Shelling peas give you the classic green peas. Snow peas and sugar snap peas have edible pods, meaning you get more food mass from each plant and less waste. For survival, edible podded peas are an incredibly efficient choice. Like beans, peas are nitrogen fixers. They actively improve the soil they grow in, preparing it for the heavy-feeding summer crops like corn or squash that will follow them in the same spot. This makes them a crucial part of a smart crop rotation plan. They build fertility for free. They are a team player in the garden ecosystem, giving back more than they take. This is the kind of efficiency you need to build a truly sustainable food source that doesn't rely on outside inputs. Many varieties do need some support to climb on, but a simple fence or some netting is all it takes. Once they finish producing in late spring or early summer as the weather heats up, the vines can be cut down and used as a nitrogen-rich mulch for the next crop or added to the compost pile. No part of the plant goes to waste. They bridge the gap, feed your family, and feed your soil. Planting peas is one of the smartest moves you can make to kickstart your garden's productivity each year. If I had to choose one leafy green to have in a survival situation, it would be kale. This plant is the ultimate survivor. It is astonishingly hardy and seems to thrive on neglect. It can handle blistering summer heat, it can withstand drought, and most remarkably, it can survive frosts and even snow. In fact, a good frost actually improves its flavor, making it sweeter and less bitter. This means you can be harvesting fresh, nutritious greens from the garden nearly year-round, even in the dead of winter in many climates. The harvest window for kale is incredible. Unlike lettuce or spinach, you don't harvest the whole plant at once. You simply pick the lower, outer leaves as you need them, and the plant will continue to grow from its central stalk, producing new leaves for months on end. A single planting of kale in the spring can provide you with food all the way through summer, fall, winter, and even into the following spring. This continuous production from a single plant is the definition of food security. Nutritionally, kale is off the charts. It's a superfood for a reason. It is absolutely loaded with vitamins A, C, and K, as well as minerals like calcium and manganese. When your diet is restricted, getting this kind of dense nutrition is vital for staving off illness and keeping your body strong. It's like a multivitamin you can grow in your backyard. It can be eaten raw in salads, especially the younger leaves, but it's also fantastic cooked in soups, stews, or simply sautéed. Growing kale is almost foolproof. Plant the seeds or seedlings in a sunny to partly shaded spot. It's not fussy about soil. Once established, it just grows. It is one of the most reliable, low-effort, high-reward plants you can possibly cultivate. Its toughness, long harvest window, and nutritional density make it an absolute non-negotiable for any garden focused on resilience and self-sufficiency. If you want a green that will be there for you no matter what, plant kale. Alongside peas, spinach is another hero of the early spring garden. It thrives in the cool, moist conditions of spring and fall, often bolting and turning bitter when the summer heat arrives. This makes it the perfect crop to grow in the shoulders of the season, providing you with a fast, nutrient-dense harvest before your main summer crops even get going. Speed is its great advantage. From seed to harvest can be as quick as 40 days, giving you access to fresh greens in a hurry. Spinach is famous for its iron content, but it's also packed with vitamins A, C, K, and folate. This is a nutritional powerhouse that helps build blood, boost immunity, and maintain energy levels. In a survival context, having a fast-growing source of these vital nutrients is a massive advantage. It allows you to get a quick win, putting fresh, healthy food on your plate while you wait for slower-growing staples to mature. That early success is a huge psychological boost. The key to a successful spinach crop is timing. You need to plant it as early as possible in the spring, and then plant another crop in the late summer for a fall and early winter harvest. By focusing spinach in the cool parts of the year, you can get 2 full harvest cycles from the same patch of ground. This is smart, efficient gardening. You're maximizing your garden's productivity across the entire calendar year, not just in the peak of summer. Like kale, you can harvest spinach in 2 ways. You can pick the outer leaves for a continuous cut-and-come-again supply, or you can harvest the entire plant at once. For a fast bulk harvest, cutting the whole plant is effective. For a longer, more drawn-out supply, picking leaf by leaf is the way to go. Either way, this fast-growing, cool-loving green is an essential part of a year-round food strategy, filling the gaps and providing critical nutrition when you need it most. If kale is the king of hardy greens, Swiss chard is the queen of relentless production. This is, without a doubt, one of the most productive and beautiful plants you can have in your garden. Its main advantage is its incredible tolerance to both heat and cold. While spinach bolts in the summer heat and kale can slow down, Swiss chard just keeps on going. It will produce prolifically through the hottest days of August and, with a little protection, can continue to be harvested after the first frosts. This gives it one of the longest harvest seasons of any vegetable. Like kale, you harvest the outer leaves, and the plant continues to produce from the center. A single planting in the spring can give you a steady supply of greens for 9 months or more. This reliability is priceless. When other crops fail or come to the end of their season, you can almost always count on the chard. It's the dependable workhorse of the survival garden. Nutritionally, it's another powerhouse. The leaves are like spinach, packed with vitamins and minerals, but you also get the thick, crunchy stems, which can be cooked separately like asparagus or celery. They come in a rainbow of colors: red, yellow, orange, white, which is a fantastic morale booster on the plate. You're getting 2 different textures and flavors from a single leaf, adding variety to your meals. Remember, you use the whole thing. Waste is not an option. Swiss chard is also incredibly easy to grow. It's more tolerant of shade than many other greens and isn't particularly fussy about soil. It is technically a biennial, meaning it has a 2-year life cycle. In milder climates, a plant can survive the winter and produce a small flush of new leaves in its second spring before it goes to seed. For sheer volume of food produced over the longest possible time, Swiss chard is almost impossible to beat. It's a must-have for a continuous supply of fresh greens. When you think of staple crops, corn is often one of the first that comes to mind, and for good reason. For the amount of space it takes up, corn is an incredibly productive source of calories. This is your energy crop. While greens and beans provide vitamins and protein, corn provides the sheer carbohydrate energy needed to fuel hard physical labor. In a survival scenario, calories are currency, and corn pays out in dividends. It's a vital part of the classic Three Sisters planting method, with beans and squash, for a reason. It's a powerful provider. There are different types of corn, and for survival, you need to choose wisely. Sweet corn is great for fresh eating, but it doesn't store well. The real survival champions are the dent, flint, and flour varieties. These are starchy corns that you allow to dry completely on the stalk. Once harvested, the dried kernels can be stored for years in a cool, dry place. This is your long-term carbohydrate security. These kernels can be ground into cornmeal for making cornbread, porridge, or tortillas, providing a reliable staple food long after the fresh harvest is gone. Growing corn is a community effort, even for the plants themselves. Corn is wind-pollinated, which means you should never plant it in a single long row. Instead, plant it in a dense block of at least 4 rows by 4 rows. This ensures that when the tassels at the top release their pollen, it has the best chance of landing on the silks of the ears below, leading to full, well-developed cobs. A poorly pollinated cob is a waste of time and energy, so planting in a block is critical for a good harvest. Beyond the kernels, the rest of the plant has its uses. The dried stalks and leaves can be used as a carbon-rich brown material for your compost pile, balancing out the nitrogen-rich greens. They can also be used as bedding for any small animals you might keep. In a true grid-down situation, every resource counts. Corn provides a massive amount of storable calories and useful biomass, making it a cornerstone crop for any serious attempt at food self-sufficiency. While corn is a fantastic grain, it can be, pretty thirsty. If you live in a hot, dry climate where water is a major concern, you need a grain that can handle the pressure. Enter sorghum. This incredible plant is an ancient grain from Africa, and it is built for heat and drought. It looks a bit like corn as it grows, but it is far more water efficient. In conditions where a corn crop would wither and fail, sorghum will often still produce a harvest. This resilience makes it a superior choice for gardeners in challenging, arid environments. Like corn, you grow sorghum for its grain. At the top of the stalk, it produces a large seed head packed with small, round grains. You harvest the entire head once the grains are hard and dry. These grains are incredibly versatile. You can cook them whole like rice or quinoa, or you can pop them like miniature popcorn. Most importantly, you can grind them into a gluten-free flour that can be used for making flatbreads, porridge, and other baked goods. It's a reliable staple food that stores for years. But sorghum has another trick up its sleeve. Certain varieties, known as sweet sorghum, produce a sugary sap in their stalks, much like sugar cane. You can press the stalks to extract this sweet juice. This juice can then be boiled down to create a thick, dark, nutrient-rich syrup. In a world without access to sugar, having a homegrown source of sweetener is an unbelievable luxury and a huge morale booster. This syrup is also a source of quick energy and contains minerals like iron, calcium, and potassium, so with one crop, you can potentially get a storable grain for flour and a sustainable source of syrup. This dual-purpose nature, combined with its incredible drought and heat tolerance, makes sorghum one of the ultimate survival crops. It's less common in Western gardens, but its rugged, reliable nature is exactly what you should be looking for. If you face hot summers and unpredictable rainfall, I would strongly urge you to dedicate a patch of your garden to this remarkable grain. We've talked about storing grains and roots, but one of the best ways to store calories for the winter is a good winter squash. Varieties like butternut, acorn, spaghetti, and Hubbard squash are nutritional powerhouses. They are dense with calories, complex carbohydrates, and vitamins, particularly vitamin A. But their real superpower is their shelf life. A properly cured winter squash, with its thick, hard skin, can last for months in a cool, dark room. No refrigeration, no canning, no special equipment needed. Curing is the critical step. After you harvest the squash, leaving an inch or two of stem attached, you need to let it sit in a warm, sunny spot for a week or two. This hardens the skin to an almost woody texture, healing any small cuts and creating an impenetrable barrier against rot. Once cured, they can be stored on shelves in a basement or a cool closet, and they will keep well into the winter, providing a source of sweet, delicious food when the garden is dormant. Winter squash plants are typically large and vining, so they need space to run. However, this can be an advantage. You can let them sprawl across the ground where they act as a living mulch, shading out weeds and keeping the soil cool and moist. Or, if you're short on space, you can train them to grow vertically up a strong trellis. Imagine a wall of heavy butternut squash hanging like pendulums. It's an incredibly productive use of vertical space. The versatility of winter squash is another huge plus. You can roast it, steam it, boil it, or turn it into a thick, hearty soup. The sweet flesh is a comfort food that provides a massive amount of energy. Even the seeds are a valuable resource. Don't throw them away. Clean them and roast them for a snack that is packed with protein, healthy fats, and minerals like magnesium and zinc. With winter squash, you get a long-lasting staple, a delicious vegetable, and a nutritious snack, all from one plant. Our final crop is one of the most tenacious and productive plants you can ever introduce to your garden, the Jerusalem artichoke, also known as a sunchoke. This is not a true artichoke but a species of sunflower that you grow for its edible tubers. Its greatest advantage is that it's a perennial. You plant it once, and it will come back year after year, spreading and multiplying underground, providing you with a reliable food source with almost zero effort. This is the definition of a low-maintenance survival crop. The tubers are knobby, looking a bit like ginger root, and they are a fantastic source of carbohydrates. However, they contain a carbohydrate called inulin, which our bodies don't digest in the same way as starch. This can be great for diabetics, but it can also cause, let's call it gastric distress if you're not used to it. The key is to introduce them into your diet slowly. Cooking them thoroughly also helps. Despite this quirk, their sheer productivity makes them worth it. The best way to manage them is to give them their own dedicated permanent patch, because once they are established, they are almost impossible to get rid of. They will spread. But in a survival context, is a patch of food that aggressively grows and spreads on its own really a problem? I think not. You can harvest them from late fall all the way through the winter, digging them up as you need them. Just like carrots, the ground is their best storage container. To harvest, you just dig around the base of the tall, dead sunflower stalks and pull up the tubers. The crucial part is to always leave a few tubers behind in the soil. Those few tubers are all it takes to guarantee a full, dense patch of plants the following year. It's a self-perpetuating food system. For a hands-off, high-yield, permanent source of calories in your survival garden, the Jerusalem artichoke is an absolute monster of a producer. There you have it, 14 champions of the survival garden. These aren't just plants, they are tools for self-reliance. They are your personal insurance policy against uncertainty. We've covered calorie-dense roots, nitrogen-fixing legumes, hardy greens, and long-storing grains. Planting even a few of these crops is a powerful statement. It's a move away from being a passive consumer and a step towards becoming a resilient producer. Food security begins in your backyard, with a single seed, and the best time to start is today. Don't wait for the crisis to hit. Prepare now. The knowledge of how to grow your own food is one of the most valuable survival skills you can possibly have. It connects you to the earth, builds your confidence, and provides real, tangible security for your family. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being. Every seed you plant is an investment in your future, a down payment on your independence. The journey might seem daunting, but it starts with one small step. Choose a crop from this list, prepare a small patch of soil, and get it in the ground. This is what nature's blueprint is all about, giving you the practical skills to thrive, not just survive. We're building a community of people who are ready to face the future with confidence and competence. If you want more gardening tips that actually make a difference, subscribe to Nature's Blueprint and share this video so more people can grow the food that protects their families. Leave a comment below and tell us which of these crops you're going to plant first. Stay prepared, stay resilient. I'll see you next time.